for it to get on all the pages. So we just kind of hang out like this for a minute.
Awesome. Cool
It says
beans.
Deb, it says some of your destinations have errors. So it might have to be shared to mine. I think it's going to go to YouTube though. I don't know. It was fine until it just showed me that. It's got an exclamation point on my Facebook. Probably
Right.
because of some restrictions. But I don't mind. It'll get there eventually because I can share it from YouTube. So just make sure it's on Beau's and the GBR. And we'll start rolling once I know we're up on the pages. Appreciate you doing this, man. Like it
Not,
feels like
not a problem, dude. It's just what else am I gonna do? I don't drink beer no more, so I can just come home and do whatever.
I mean
It's
the
not
time
like
flew. Like it's been 2 weeks, but it feels like we just talked about it and set this day up just like
right.
yesterday. Here it is.
All right, I think I'm like what 191, 192 days sober. You know, it was, and I got a storm whipping through here, boy. Woo, doggy.
Now, if you have to jump off all of a sudden, or this,
Yeah, I'm about to be
we'll know.
got a storm.
Beau in the storm. That's what we'll
Oh, the
officially title
storm.
this. Beau
Indeed.
in the storm.
Riding it out. Riding it out. Heck yeah. Like I didn't even remember about me getting drunk and passing out underneath the bleachers at Austin's wrestling thing when he was a kid. And I'm like, that's the crap I'm talking about, man. How embarrassing is that?
What did
Passing
Deb tell
out.
you? Did Deb tell you that?
Yeah. She's like, yeah. And I forgot all about it. I'm like, dude, I remember. Like when I got hammered drunk night before and slept underneath the bleachers, my whole son's wrestling meet all day long. Got up, seen his last match, and went home. Like
She mentioned that. Like she was wanting to like
crazy.
ask you that night we talked, and I just wasn't couldn't. But she mentioned it. I was like, yeah, I wonder if he remembers. I was gonna ask
Yeah.
you, but then I forgot. So
Yeah, I remember that, and it's just like Austin didn't say much growing up. He was that type of kid, but it's just that shit that I would have been pissed off as a kid. I'd have
yeah,
been embarrassed by my dad. It's how embarrassing is that? Just so glad I don't gotta do that anymore. Just
yeah, that's the old you. But I mean, you own it. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't
right.
mention that. They'd be embarrassed. They'd be like, oh no.
Oh
But
hell no, I was hammered drunk underneath their sleep. Lucky, I just remember laying in there thinking they're gonna fold this up and I'm gonna die. But
oh,
I'm so
shoot, I
drunk I was
wouldn't.
asleep.
I wouldn't
Crazy.
have thought about that.
It was in Clinton.
Oh man,
Right. Stupid. Just stupid.
long time ago.
Right.
All right,
Right.
I'm assuming. I know we're live on YouTube. I'm pretty sure we're live or close enough on GBR. Let me say what up to everybody. GBR family YouTube. Uh, Welcome to another on the spot. Tonight's guest is Beau Newton, local legend for all intents and purposes, but with a different purpose today.
Right, right,
From my
right.
hometown, Lincoln. He'll be sharing his testimony with us tonight. Before we get into it, though, I do want to mention that my guests come as they are. I don't ask them to refrain from anything. I got to have them just as raw and authentic and genuine as they come. Beau is Beau, and I'm not asking him, and will not ask him or any guest to curb their language or anything like that. I know we're on I got the God-based recovery group. If some are offended by any language that Beau might use, or myself, I drop some bombs now and then. Try not to be offended by that. I don't feel my God is so easily offended. His testimony remains just as powerful. So don't let that, diverge you from listening to the whole story. But my guests have to be who they are. This isn't like national broadcasting network or anything like that. So we just let it fly here, man. Once we start trying to edit and cancel who we are, we're all imperfect sinners just trying to, be better versions of ourselves. Some, we're all saved by grace. Some have come to Christ moments. Some just get tired of their own BS. And, what me and Beau are trying to do, the one thing we got in common is we got tired of our own BS, and we just want to become better versions for our family, our friends, our community. And we're lucky to have him tonight to share his story. So yeah, please, support and encourage him in the comments. If he can't see him, I'll post some on the screen now and then. And let me pray in, and we'll get into it, Beau.
All right.
Father God, thank you so much for having me here tonight with my brother, Beau. You know exactly where he is where he's at in his life, Lord. You know what he's been through. You know what you pulled him through. And he's on a heck of a path, a heck of a journey these days, Lord, and bound and determined to use his past as a as a vehicle to help others, get on the same path in their sobriety. And he wants to break the stigmas of embarrassment or awkwardness or pride, Lord. There's many people that want to get sober and are trying to do better to be there for their friends and family, but it's just hard to leave that life behind. It's hard to step out from that lifestyle, that party life, the addiction itself, Lord. But I just ask you to guide my words tonight. Make sure the questions get to Beau that you want him to answer, and for his answers and his story to reach and resonate with at least one person, Lord. Just one person is all we ask during this live, and as it'll be posted up on YouTube and wherever for people to see it afterwards. And please let the storm not interfere with this broadcast either in Florida right now, brewing around. And I just ask you to be with Beau's friends and family, Lord, his sons, and just everybody he loves and cares about, and everybody that's going to be watching this video. Be with their friends and family, draw them closer to you, Lord, one day at a time, one step at a time, however it has to be done. And I say this prayer in your beautiful, mighty, powerful Son, Jesus' name. Amen. Woo! All right, Beau. You ready?
Howdy, howdy. Yeah, I'm ready. I probably just want to start off, I'm Beau.
Yeah.
I may rip a few bombs here and there. I try not to. I mean, no disrespect at all. It's just who I am and what I say, and I know it is what it is. But I'll try to be as respectful as I can. But it is who I am. So I also just want to say is I'm 191 days sober. 6.5 months probably, and I'm so wet behind the ears and doing this new life and new journey. I don't ever try to come off as being an expert. I just want to get my story out because I'm telling you, just by putting it out there and on my own Facebook and just talking to people that know, I've had a numerous amount of people message me and call me and come up to me and just ask me in daily life, like, how are you doing? And I'm struggling, and that's just what it's about is, you know, tired of burying people and tired of watching people die for no reason besides alcohol, and just trying to let them know that it's such a better life being sober. Once you get through that hump of getting mad and oh well, I can't do anything. Life's no fun because I'm not drunk or I'm not. Just think about all the money you wasting all the time, and it's just to help. I just think that there's enough people out there that I love. I got friends that were just way off worse than me, and some that aren't as bad as me as what I was in my alcohol. But I think it's if I can reach one person and help somebody, it's worth it. Because by far it's a better life. By far, and since you're living it. But that's
Yeah, man. I mean, 191 days. I mean, heck, a year ago or more. I mean, 5 or 6 days. That would have
right.
been, a milestone.
It,
It
it,
would've-
it would have been good. I'll tell you. I just the backstory on it was, I started probably drinking pretty good at 17 years old, and I was thinking about it, and started off, a couple beers here and there, and maybe getting a bottle on the weekend with some buddies. I remember going down to my buddy Keith's house and drinking down in the basement and puking in the mornings, and just it just started like that. But I can remember my senior year, 18. I and I ain't never really told anybody this, but I quit basketball my senior year just so I could go party and drink. And that was at 18 years old. That was only a year into it, and I regret that. We lost, 1996, we lost super sectional lane fear. We could have been playing manual up in the state tournament. It's just something small like that, but it's like at 18, I didn't want to go to practice every night. I didn't want to play the games Friday and Saturdays. Because I want to drink beer. So I just quit and just so I could drink beer. And
Mm.
that started at 18. And, I drank every day for 30 years. I could probably add up 10 days in 30 years that I didn't have a drink, and that's just was my life, so coming home and opening 10 to 12 beers, and the last few years I was probably putting a case down a night. I'd go get off work, and whether we'd be at work, we take a cooler, and me and the other superintendents or whatever, we're staying there. You're drinking 6 7 beers and 8 beers, and then you go to your boss's house and have 8 to 10 beers before you go home. Then you stop and get 2 road sodas and drive home there on some tall boys. And then you come home and have 10 to 12 more beers before you just pass out and do it all over again. And I got so tired of that. But yeah, I felt that I wanted to quit, but it was still every day getting up drinking. Every time I'd go fishing or every time I'd go to work, I'd still pack that cooler and have beer ready for 5 o'clock.
I mean, you didn't really do after a while. I mean, 18. I didn't know that, by the way. Yeah, you
Right.
might have helped the Railers that year, man.
Right, right. My
I get
coach,
the
Coach
regret.
Al, was pissed that year, dude. When I told him
I
I
bet.
quit. He was
Um,
pissed, dude.
I think well, yeah, 94. I graduated in 94, but yeah, that's a lot of after like a year or two. I mean, was there any activities you were doing without beer
Not
around?
really,
Or
man. Because I ended up going to college, and so I played football and baseball up at Aurora, and it'd be the same shit. Sitting there drinking, player games on Saturday mornings in college football, and you get hammered drunk, and half the time you're sneaking a shot in there with you, or you got a little bit of coke in your belt as you're going out, just still partying, thinking it's cool. And my thing is I can control not having that first beer, but I can't control anything after that. Once I have one beer, it's on. And alcohol's fuel to me, and I love it, and I like partying. And I like that scene, and I like the women, and I like the crowd, and I like the running, and it just fueled me. And and I still think, yeah, I do miss running around a little bit. But I'm also 48 years old, and I'm not near as young as I was. But it wasn't like I had this, I didn't kill somebody, I didn't have 10 DUIs. It was just I kind of got real tired of it. So I'm just going to base it off like the start of it. Probably 3 to 4 months before I actually did have that, when I was talking to, when Cheyenne Winter said what she said. I was laying in bed. It'd be Saturday mornings. I'd be in bed all morning feeling like shit and puking and blaming it on acid reflux and this and that. And I was in this spot of depression and anxiety and thinking, if I die today, who cares? Everybody, my kids will get over it. And it's sad being in that spot, and it's hard to get out of bed. And if you get out of bed, you feel like shit. You're just going in there, getting something to eat, pissing, going back to bed, wasting my day just to lay down so I get up and drink again. And all these videos were popping up, like on watching Instagram videos. And it was like, Josh Brolin or James Brolin, Robert Downey Jr., all these people talking about sobriety and how they got sober and what they did. And it just was like, I think it was brewing and it was sticking. I wanted to quit, and I'd watch that video and I'd lay in bed and be like, man, I want to quit. But I'd get up and I'd go in there to grab a beer. It's just what I knew, and it's just how I functioned. And one night, I think it was a Sunday, I think Saturday or Sunday, I'd stop by Cheyenne's. I consider them, family of mine, and she, she's from Lincoln and Decatur or whatever, and her and her husband were home, and they're like family. They're younger, and I stopped by and always took a case of beer. I always drank over there. Wherever I went, I had beer. No matter what, I had to have beer. No matter where it was, and I took a case of beer over there and I put it in the fridge. And Phil was outside, and I was sitting down and talking to her, and she had the baby and stuff, and um, I cracked my beer and I had a couple sips of it, and Phil came in the house, her husband, and he grabbed a beer, and she was just like, what are you doing? He said, I'm grabbing a beer, and she was like, well, I don't want my son to think that's okay. You just come in and grab a beer whenever you want. She's like, I never seen my dad do that, and that for some reason kicked me square in the balls. And I was just utterly embarrassed, and it took me back. I was just like, okay. So I didn't say much. I didn't say anything. I sat there, still had my beer, and I didn't stick around too long after that. I left the beer there, and I drove home with the open beer that I had. And when I got home, I dumped that beer out, and I dumped every beer I had in the fridge, and I just stewed on that all night. I didn't say much. I just kind of went into shower and went into bed, but I didn't drink the rest of that night. And I got up that morning and I was like, I'm done drinking. I'm over this shit. I'm just done. coming from her, like my boys are tough and rough and it is what it is, they don't speak as much, but coming from her and how much I admired her and love her, it kind of just broke my heart, thinking that, that somebody could see a dad or somebody like that come in and being drunk all the time. And I thought, man, that's just not the life I want to live. So I went to work that day and then I came home and I had about 4 or 5 cases out in my carport because when everybody parties, they leave their beer and shit like that. And I grabbed him. I threw every one of those in the trash can. I have not touched it since. And I don't miss it. I don't really have urges. I don't really have these triggers. I don't. I've never been to a meeting. I'm not opposed to them, and I'm not stupid enough or naive enough to think a week from now or a year from now that I'm not going to be hit with, slapped in the face with the urge of wanting to drink, but right now I don't want anything to do with it, and I've gone into bars where my boss and them have drank. I've been to my boss's house, we have meetings and they all drink, and I don't miss it, man. I have water, and it's not an urge for me or nothing, and every
Well,
once in a while it may be sunny and it's like, man, I'd like to have a beer, but I just don't have that want or that need in my life. It's just all that bullshit that came with it. I don't want it anymore. And I'm over it, and I'm done. It don't serve me. There's no purpose in it in my life.
no, I mean, how hard? A couple questions on that. I mean, that's what most people would call like a moment of realization or an epiphany type of deal, because you were just doing your regular thing that night. You went over to hang out with them. I mean, you were
Right.
kind of watching some videos and seeing it a little bit, but for for her to say that and to hit you like it did, um, like, that speaks volumes,
Right.
because you wasn't expecting it. You wasn't asking anybody to say anything.
No.
Um, but and you haven't looked back since. How hard has it been, or has it not been that difficult to because you got a lot of the same circles down there, and now here's Beau not drinking, work buddies and friends and all this stuff. How hard has it been to be like, no, I'm good, I'm just gonna have
You
a
know
soda
what?
or water?
It
Did
it
you get
has
any?
it,
Did
it
they give you any? What about it?
well, yeah. So my boss, he likes to drink. He's got the bourbon and all the fancy, smancy stuff like that. And for first couple weeks, first couple months, I was always like, "Hey, so is this like how long you doing this for?" Like, like, no, I quit. I'm done. I don't want it anymore. And as far as that, my other people like that have been around me, they're very supportive of it, but I put it out there and I talk about it. Like I hold myself accountable for it. That's why I put it on my Facebook. That's why I put, being sober. That's why I put, hey, I'm a month sober. Or just because I could very easily say, don't put it out there, and I could fly to Illinois and drink with everybody at the OK Tavern and nobody know any different, But I don't want it. I don't want to be put in a situation with it. But I've been pretty blessed as to where I haven't been hit with any of this big triggers or big urges yet. But for the most part, everybody knew that I was pretty serious when I just didn't that first night drink beer. And they were all like, "Damn!" Even one day of me not drinking is a shock, because that just shows you that I drank every stinking night. And
They're like,
it
"Where's Beau?
wasn't
What'd you do
it
with Beau?"
yeah, it wasn't 2 beers. It was we don't stop. And I mean that led into cocaine and women and running and just just that vicious cycle of what it does. And and I was the type of alcoholic too. Is when I drank, you just didn't know what Beau you got. Whether it was the mean one, wanting to start a fight, wanting to just evil, just spitting pure evil and pure venom, or the one fun, happy-go-lucky Beau, and could just switch like that. And it's just shit that I'm not proud of, and
Yeah.
who I was. But I will tell you that there is all the cliches of or everything that my mom said was going to be about quitting drinking is all true. My anxiety was gone within a week. Like I didn't have any. My depression was gone. It was so self-induced. It was insane. Like once you get humbled on I don't give a fuck, and I'm sorry for saying that, but I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. I don't. True and true. I got my small circle, and that's it. And that's who I care about. who reciprocates their love to me. That's who I care about more than anything. So I just I'm not embarrassed to come out and say that I have demons or that I have problems or I had something like that. And I think that's what's pretty much blessed me, because I got quick to just putting it out there, getting some support, and then really getting a chance to like me, the sober me. And it was neat to, like, go to the park, go fishing without drinking for the first time was insane, man. Like, half the time, because I drink so fast, it's like I'm drinking 4 or 6 beer, I don't even have my pole in the water, and then I'm ready to go because I'm almost out of beer and I'm not enjoying it, and it's just all those small things that you because the way I felt when I was drunk, it was like there was something heavy over me, and I just would always had these blinders down. I was just out to party and out to have fun, and I just wasn't ever aware of anything that was in my surroundings, and that even came down to my kids, like there was many times on weekends I would have them, and I'd go out Friday night and be like, oh, well, they're at home, and fucking wouldn't come home till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and just dumb, just dumb, and that's just something I've had to work on, and I've got to work on with my kids, and I apologize to my youngest forever, and it's just always, I was telling him that, like, when I talked to him on the phone, like, I should have been a more present father by far, and I apologize for that. And it's not like I beat him or did anything, but it was just like, there's, I got DUI, so I couldn't drive and watch their games out of town, on the weekends because they lived in Morton. They didn't live with me, and it's just little shit like that you gotta that you gotta kind of trudge through. But my son did say, my youngest, he said, Dad, at least you've gotten the chance to turn it around. He said most people just die or they don't. He said at least you've got a chance. So that's is a big drive for me. Hearing that is way stronger than me ever wanted to grab a drink of beer, because the way my son said that and the way he looks at me, and then they trust what I say now because I'm not drunk, and I'm not just spitting words, and I remember what we say, and it's just all part of that, have them on the weekends, and you start drinking on Saturday morning, then you get too drunk, you can't take them to the movies, and you're just pushing it off, and no, we'll go tomorrow, and they don't want to be upset, they don't want to say anything because they don't want to upset it, so it's just in how many times do you do that to a person?
Nice. And they expect it. I mean,
Right.
I think it's been said, or maybe not. Maybe I'm just thinking this, but it seems like addiction, alcohol is just for you, while it ruins everybody else. And then your recovery heals you and helps everybody else. Like you gave your boys a chance to say that to you,
Right.
to be there for them. And yeah, you can't turn the clock back. You can't go back and be there and change all that stuff. But I mean, this is the really the second part of life now. Now you provided a chance, for them to never have to go down that same road. They probably saw
Right.
enough, heard enough stories,
Yeah,
and
they don't drink very much, and that's why,
and I
and
think
that's
that's
that's a
great.
that's a blessing, right?
You've helped that because I mean I don't know, everybody's different, but if you would have continued on and continued on, one, and we'll get into that here in a little bit, like another couple years, we might not be talking if you would
I
have
don't
kept
think
on.
so. Right,
And
I
then
don't
who
think
knows what that would have done to one of your boys or all of them. I mean, they might have followed in those same footsteps to kind of to drown that out. It happens easily.
right,
Um,
right,
but now they see that they don't even have to do that. And I hope they wouldn't. Alcoholism could definitely, and addiction can run in the families and all that, and everything. But for them to be like, it kind of takes a weight off their backs too, because if they keep seeing a parent struggle in addiction later and later and later in life, I think that they would look at that and be like, man, is that going to be me eventually? Like, I like to party a little bit, I'm young, kids are young,
right,
kids parties, there's college, there's
right,
all that stuff,
absolutely,
like it's unavoidable. But
right,
the more they see the parent that is being like, I'm turning the corner, I'm leaving that stuff behind, I'm going to be accountable, I'm going to be there, I think that just takes a lot of pressure off their shoulders. And I mean, they got years to look forward, to being with you, and
right,
the best is yet to come. I mean, the worst, hopefully, and is behind you for them.
right,
And
right.
you like this version of you better than your old self, huh?
So this part is, and it's so hard. Now I will say the first two weeks, like, it was tough. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't put a thought together. I was sweating profusely. like my roommate, man, he was just like, dude, he goes, I was watching, I thought you were gonna go to seizure and die. He goes, because you drink heavily, and I just up and said, I'm done, I'm done. I mean, I got a computer desk, I would start trying to put that together, I couldn't put it together, it's just I couldn't focus, I didn't know how to do life.
Yeah.
And this sounds so stupid, like it, when I say it sounds so stupid, but I didn't know how to do life sober. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do something without a beer in my hand. Yeah, you go to work, you kind of fumble through, you do your daily routine, but to come home and do like your real life, what you want to do, it's, I'd get pissed because I'd go out and clean my truck. Well, I couldn't have beer when I'm not cleaning my truck because I quit drinking. I get so pissed. And I'm like, oh, why? I can't pour poison down my throat while I go clean my truck or while I do the laundry or whatever. And it was about 2 weeks or so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start going to the gym a little bit, and I got on my motorcycle and just would go cruise a while. And I just started like listening to some music and just seeing, like, seeing what was out there and just being open. And I have fun. Like, I don't mind going places. It's so nice to go into a place, like have coffee in the morning and just have a conversation and be present in that conversation, or go like Cheyenne, like I knew it would bother so much because we'd always go out once a week and have dinner or whatever. And I don't drink and eat. I drink or I eat. So I would always get food to go and I'd just get hammered drunk, and then she'd eat and then we'd talk and I'd go home or whatever. And it's like I just missed out on all that close conversation, and now I love it. Go out to eat. I don't have to have a drink. It's so the clarity is insane. My energy is insane. I feel so much better. I look better. I mean, the amount of people that are like, "Man, you look like shit," and I'm thinking, "Yeah, but you guys didn't say anything. You just let me, look like that, And that's another reason why I'm kind of doing this, being out there, because there are a lot of people that don't want to say nothing to you because you know how it is. You talk to
Yeah.
somebody that's drunk or an addict, and they turn around and snap at you or do whatever.
Yeah.
And I just kind of want to get rid of that point. Is I think being an alcoholic is I have a better chance of telling somebody, man, you look like shit, to another alcoholic, and say, I've been there.
Good.
I don't think I would have been here in 2 more years. I don't think I would have been here. And that's the truth. I was that bad. I was puking every morning. I was hiding that I was puking every morning. Going into work late, not knowing if I was sick, how I would know if I would have had cancer because I would have just been felt like shit every day. You know what I mean? And it's just once you get through that, and you start, like, enjoying life, and you start, like, like, I kind of like myself, man, I'm a decent guy. I'm not that guy that's just trying to bury down in alcohol and like going out to dinner, or kissing your girlfriend, or saying hi to her in the kitchen, or just having your kids call you at 9 o'clock and just having a conversation just about life, just about nothing, about the Cubs or whatever, is so much better. But and everybody's just asked, kind of like, well, what is it, and it's just like a euphoria for me is, and it's just as exciting as, and do you remember, like, in junior high, when you first went out to that first party where there was no beer, there was no alcohol or anything, but it's just, there was the girls and there was you and the parents were gone, so you were at that first little get together and you were so excited with your buddies and it was fun. You didn't do anything, you had no alcohol, you had no booze, you had no weed, you had no nothing, but it was just a bunch of people hanging out talking. And that's
And like
kind of the
freedom.
euphoria. Yeah, it's the euphoria that you get now. It's, you go out and you have dinner and you enjoy the conversation, and it's just as simple as, I probably watched Netflix for 2 years and I didn't finish one episode of nothing because I was so drunk, passed out, and don't remember it. And I'd have to just start over again. I watched the same episode three, still ain't finished it. Now it's like, man, I can watch a movie through and through and remember it. And as asinine as that may be, it was just, I was drunk every day, and I just got tired of it, and I didn't want to be, well, Grandpa's coming over, you got to have beer in the fridge, or Grandpa's drunk, or I just didn't want that, and God forbid something happen right where I'm so drunk I can't get in a car and drive to help nobody. It's just crazy to me, like how much of my life I spent and wasted on that. But I don't have the desire or the want to drink. I just don't anymore. And like I said, I don't. It's only been 6 months, going on 7, but I feel like I've been really blessed because I talk to some people that just struggle every day. It's really really hard for them. And when I do feel that I want to drink or something, I always think about my kids and what they say, and just I don't ever want to go back. The guilt of what I did in the past it just destroys me, and I don't ever want to go back to that. And I'm building here, I'm going
Yeah.
here, not going right back to where it was, but just I got to make my greatest day sober has got to be better than any party I ever had when I was drunk. And I'm telling you, I had some doozies because I loved it. I loved the
Yeah.
party. Loved to be the center of attention. I loved to run around. I loved to stay out all night. I loved the women. I loved it all. Everything that came with it. But it also came with a lot of bad decisions, a lot of court dates.
I
A
mean,
lot of lot.
you're gonna
Right,
have your memories.
right,
You won't. You don't have to live back there anymore. But those memories will live on. I mean, yeah, there was definitely probably plenty of like good nights and good
right,
conversations, fights,
right,
all
right,
that stuff that comes with it. But in a way, it's almost like you kind of went to sleep at 17, 18 years old and just woke up
right,
6 months ago,
right.
and you're
And
like,
it's
how do I do everything?
right. Like
How do
how
I put these
how
computer decks together?
how did I do that? And I don't. There's some days where I'm like, man, I wasted all that time. But then again, it's who I am. It's who made me who I am.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that still was decent and a good guy and back then, but still that alcohol it just took me, man. And I now, like, I've gone out to the bar a few times with my buddies here, just to kind of drive them home, and I'm telling you, there is not one cool drunk person. I don't give a shit who you are, who you think you are, like how cool you think you are. You are not cool when you're drunk. It's sloppy messes and just annoying and horrible. I don't care. It's just not
What
a cool
what's this
thing,
thing where they got to talk to you this close? Even if the music's not playing, they got to
Right,
talk to you right in your face. You know
right.
what I mean? But they
Right,
like just
or it's the
yell.
same story over and over. And I thought, I
I'm
went
sure
and
I've
told
done
my
that too.
buddy next day, and I'm like, man, did I looked like that? And they're like, yeah, you look stupid too when you're drunk. And I'm like, God, how embarrassing. Like, just, and now that I think back, I can remember sitting in my buddy's kitchen up all night and drinking beer. We're making all these promises and everything. Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this tomorrow. And then
Oh yeah, yeah.
bullshit. And it's all the time, and it's just like
I'm gonna wake up
it's
tomorrow morning and start drinking. That's what you're
right,
gonna do. That's the one
right.
thing that you can guarantee is gonna happen.
Right.
All these
It's
other grandiose ideas. You know what we should
right.
do, man?
Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do. I promise. Yeah. Okay. Bullshit. It's not happening. And it's just the same thing. And then or half the time you talk to somebody you ain't seen in 13 years, or you rarely ever talk to just because you're drunk, and all of a sudden you're best friends that night. And then it's another 10 years you just walk right back beside each other, don't say a word.
Yeah.
It's just a bad thing. It's just a poison. There ain't nothing good from it. There's no good amount of
It
alcohol.
just
There's
it
not.
distorts reality. I
Right.
mean, it's supposed to. They say it's supposed to like make you more of who you are and kill the inhibitions and all that stuff. I get that to a certain extent, but
Right. Right.
everything gets exaggerated. It gets overwhelming,
Right.
over dramatized. Like you said, it made you a little bit more like this or a little bit like that. And then we haven't talked about it yet, but I mean, for me as well, throw Coke in the
Right.
mix on
Right.
the alcohol or without the alcohol. That definitely probably turns you a little bit. I don't know if it's Jekyll that was the good one or Hyde that was the good one, but
They're
whichever
both.
one was the
There
crazier
was
one.
there was no good one when I got on the cocaine and shit. It was there
Um,
was no there was no. I mean, I was going to cheat on my old lady. It didn't matter. I was going to run around and do what I wanted. I could have had the hottest, coolest chick at home, and it just took me down a path of just destruction, and it's just there's probably a lot of apologies I got owed to a couple women, and that were good. And it's not just the alcohol. I chose to do it, and I'm not just blaming that, but it definitely just it never led to anything good.
yeah,
And there's I could never just have one. I could never have just six. If there was 12 in that fridge, 12 were going down. And I'm telling you, if I got up on a Saturday and there were three beers, that was my that I had to go get it. I had to go get more because I had to make sure I had beer in that fridge because I couldn't just drink three because there's no way. And if I'm in the middle of drinking and we say, hey, we're going somewhere, I had to take 4 or 5 fucking beers with me and put them in the car. Like, just like what? Like, come on, man. I mean, it was every day, all the time, all the time.
well,
Whether
you
it was
see,
my son's baseball game, a birthday party, a funeral, graduation, anything, there was beer. every time in a cooler. So
Garage sale
right,
beer.
all that, and you get up and it's like, oh well, it's float trip. Well, now I can drink 30 to 40 beers. And I can start drinking because it's a float trip, and I'm thinking like like I went to Panama City with some friends, and I was at Tiffany Keeler, Vincent, and we all went up there. It was her cousins, we'd all just hung out, and I told her, and like I think Courtney Mode, I said, this is the first time and ever that I've been on a boat. I drove a boat and everything that I've been sober. I didn't have a beer, and it was great because, as we're flying back up, and there's cops on this side, I didn't have to hide, have to worry, because normally I'm the one worried about getting a DUI. I'm driving the boat or doing whatever, and it's so that's what I just can't get used to. It's like I don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't have to worry about DUI. I don't have to worry about getting drunk, killing myself, killing some innocent person, and the first week that I had gotten sober, so weird, as I was at a friend's house over here, and she was quitting too, and it was like 11 o'clock, and we're just sitting there white knuckling. The music wasn't cool, nothing. You could just like sitting like this. And I'm like, I went out and started cleaning my truck. And I'm like, dude, we live in Florida, man. I'm like, let's go down the beach. And she was like, it's 11 o'clock. And I'm like, so what? We're sober. Like we can drive. It's like we can
I'm like, oh
do
yeah,
normal things. You know what I mean?
you don't
Like
have
I'm
to
going to
hide.
get right. I'm not hammer drunk at 9, 10 o'clock, and my oldest son, it's not, they're, I know that after 8 o'clock, they wouldn't call me because, dad's drunk, you know, dad's hammer drunk. So I don't really want to talk to him. So I'm just going to avoid it. Or if I call him, they're not answering. Well, now it's like, boom, they pick right up because, they like that sober dad, and you can have a conversation, and what I say is true, and what I say is real, and it's just a completely different life. It's a 180 for me, man. It's a 180, and I would love to give the way I feel to somebody because like I came back home. I've been home twice, and it ain't the same Lincoln I grew up in. And there's a lot of my friends, man, that I see walking around or riding a bike, won't look in the eye, that are just struggling, and I get people too that they reach out to me, and they say, hey, I'm struggling, man. How'd you do it? Or hey, you're inspiring me to keep talking, keep putting it out there, because I just think that there's a group of people that want help, and I think they're a little embarrassed by it. So
Yeah, as
this
we
is
talked.
kind of what I want to do, is get it out there and make it normal. And I do, like I was talking to you about, I'd love to come back once a month for a weekend and just meet up with people, or do a little podcast. Somebody have some people on, or
Yeah,
have us talk about it, or just meet with coffee in the morning. We ain't got to do anything. We ain't even got to talk about it. Just be presence. I had a kid call me that I didn't really know. I knew his brother, and we just sat on the phone for an hour and didn't say a word. He just wanted that presence of somebody sitting there, and I said, we don't have to say anything, but I'll sit on here as long as you need me to. And sometimes it's all just a person needs, because you don't know how close they are to putting that gun in their mouth or that needle in their arm, and that's the last time you're ever going to see it. So this just why I'm doing this is for that reason. And just even one person is one person. And about one grows into two, and two grows into three. It's just like, I can control. I can't promise that I'll quit drinking forever, because nobody can promise anything forever, but I can promise you I won't drink today. And that's the way I take it, is I just won't drink today. And then tomorrow it's the same mentality. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm not worried about yesterday. I'm just not going to drink today. And that's how I get through it. And I just don't drink for that day. And it's just the same cycle. And one day turns into 2 days, into 5 days, into 100 days, into 190 days, and hopefully that's 10 years from now, when I'm still sitting here and I'm still talking about it, because it's going to be just as raw. And I just think alcohol is such a sometimes overlooked, like it's not as bad as all the other ones, but man, I'm telling you, it's such a promoted poison that it's
yeah.
insane. It's all
Well, I
over the
think
place.
the worst, man. To be well, I say that kind of biasly, but it's not like the Super Bowl sponsored by an eight
Hmm.
ball, or the
Right,
NBA
yeah,
finals sponsored by
yeah.
fentanyl. It's
Yeah,
alcohol.
hypodermic needles,
They don't, no other
immediate.
drug has Clydesdales out there prancing around, and it just looks like the most normal thing ever.
Right, right.
Um,
Everybody's
and
gonna
it's a
drink. Everybody's gonna
destroyer of
fight.
families. There's no amount of alcohol that's ever made any person's life better. It's
Right.
just I don't see it.
Oh,
There are people that can go out and have a couple, have a glass of wine. I get that. That's a rare breed. For the
right,
most part, though, I mean, it's just literally slow suicide, slow poison.
right. You're
Um,
killing yourself every day.
it is, and everybody has the reasons, for drinking and stuff. Usually, it's to fit in, to have a a good time at a party, to get your nerves, taken care of, to ask a girl out or whatever. But after a while, man, it's just like, okay, you like to party, you like to do this, and all of a sudden, I'm sure you got to a point within a few years or so where it was like, man, I gotta like have this all the time. And
Right.
that's not how it started out. Like, I don't think you started out at
No,
17 thinking, I'm going to do every single activity with a beer
no.
eventually.
It was. Oh, the older guys were drinking. I'm going to this party. I was down at Todd Boss's house. Actually, I think was one of the first few times we were over there drinking on the house in the wintertime. It was just, and I didn't even like taste the beer. It tastes like shit. And I was like, ugh. Well, I had two or three, and that was it. And then it's just kind of what you did to be cool. And then you just grew into, because I mean, my grandparents on both sides, are alcoholics. My grandma and then on one, and then my grandpa on the other, and it just ran kind of in the family on both sides. But it just it gets you and you don't even know it. And
Yeah.
and all of a sudden here I am, because when I first came to Florida, I thought, yeah, it's be great, and then 5 years into it, I'm living in paradise, and I'm coming home, sitting between four walls, getting hammered drunk by myself every night. Just and it got to the point of, it's not because it's not that I wanted it or I had a bad day or something happened. It was just what I knew and what I did. So it was just come in, grab a beer, sit down, get drunk, get up, do it again. Come around, your inhibitions are gone. As you get older, you don't want to go out so much and you don't want to run around. So you just sit here by yourself. And I'm thinking, I live 15 minutes from a beach. I live where people save all year long to come for a week, and I live it every day. And I'm just stuck in my house, killing myself by drinking bush beer all day long. Like, it was insane to me. And I
Yeah.
just, it just got to this point of it. I wasn't having it. I would get sick like drinking my first few. Like, it was like it was coming back, and I'm like, man, this that's telling me that my body's just saying enough is enough, man. Just enough is enough. And then mentally, I was really wanting to quit. And like I said, for some reason, them videos, man, were all over my Instagram, and I would watch them every day, every night, and I'd say, okay, man, I think I want to quit. And I'd get up in that morning with the intention of, and then an hour or two, I'd be doing laundry, go out and mow, and I grab beer, and it's just okay. Well, that day's done, and I'd get hammered drunk, and it was just this vicious cycle until that one day Cheyenne said that, and it just struck a chord in me, dude. And I was just like, you know what? Nope, no more. I'm done. Threw it all out and never haven't touched it since. Never looked back on it. So
I mean, so you were on your way. You were open to the idea. You were getting tired of yourself. You knew it was something you were gonna. I mean, at that point, continue to have to do. I mean, you might get a
right,
day or two here where you could like white knuckle it and force yourself not to drink, but
right.
um,
I
you
would have
were
been pissed at doing it, at not drinking. I was mad.
you wouldn't have been cool to hang around with
No,
the.
no, not at
But,
all.
I mean, it's so fortunate that you were in the right place at the right time, doing the wrong thing, but ended up hearing the right thing, and
Right, right.
it's something you won't ever forget. And like you said,
No,
that combined with like how much your boys respect you and love you and can call you after 9 o'clock. I think that would overwhelm because you might get an urge. Hell, you might have one later tonight or tomorrow, but those things right there, I think, will overcompensate that urge. And you got plenty of shit to go do to go distract yourself from it.
right. And
Hell,
I'm
you
also I'm that person too. Is I'm getting addicted to stacking days now. I always like that. Oh, it's 191. Oh, well, let me see if I get 192. Oh, let me see if I get 200. Let me see if I get 250. Let me, and I do think it's just I don't know if it's, when you're kind of in that relationship with that girl, and you loved her for a while, and you always kind of be tied to her, but you just kind of like, I'm just done. I'm not going back to her. I'm just over it. No more heartache, no more hurt, no more bullshit, no more nothing. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I feel with it is, I had my fun. I did what I did. I got some great stories, and it was and I survived it, but I don't miss it, man. I think back to it and I think, man, I don't, somebody asked me to go to the bar. I don't want to. Somebody asked me to go to a cookout and let's get some drinks and go fishing and shit. It's like, I don't want to. First of all, I don't want to feel bloated. I don't want to feel sick like I did. I'm like I said, I'm back in the gym. You know, epitome. I've only lost. I'm still fat but it's like just the thought of having that beer and getting the bloated feeling and just going right back to square one again and just my acid reflux and the pain in my chest and just it's just not it's not in my cards anymore. It doesn't serve me at all. It does me no purpose. I mean, my job is going well. I make good money and I have an opportunity to take over something, and it's so crazy is like a bad day at work. You still have your bad days, but it's like really it's just not that bad. I can figure it out. As to where when I was just an alcoholic and was borrowing days and hung over and had so much anxiety because something bad happened at work and I couldn't figure it out. It's like, no, fuck that. I'm a grown man. I can figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll get through it. And it's now I'm months ahead of schedule on all my builds. It's so crazy. It's 180, man. It's been within like 2-3 weeks. My boss was like, "What is going on, man?" And I'm like, "It's." I come home and I'm not drinking for 4 hours a night. I can come home and I can read a book. I can go to the gym. I can. It's endless, man.
You can live.
I can go do whatever I want to do. I can get on my motorcycle and go cruise for a good hour. Go to the gym and work out an hour. Come home, do my laundry, make some food, sit down, watch TV, and I still have an hour or two before bed, and it's like I just did all that. Or I can read a book before I go to bed and learn something instead
That's
of
peace.
just getting hammered drunk.
That's peace, man. Is what that is.
Right.
I mean, and to
Right.
be able to enjoy that, and I don't even know if it's necessarily that you're in Florida. Yeah, there's plenty of other things to do, but I mean, you'd still be having that peace and that freedom wherever you go. Um,
And this is weird because I am so excited now. Like my day, and this is so terrible but my day is I get up like it's like, you know, I only sleep 2 hours a night, maybe. It's just I don't sleep much, But I'm excited to get up and get out of bed to have my coffee with my creamer and slow mornings. Whether I'm just sitting in the kitchen having a drink, I'm not rushing anything. I don't have to, I'm up a couple hours before I even got to get out the door. I can go sit outside, smoke a cigarette. I can take a shit if I need to. Nobody's calling me. It's my morning's my morning, and I, that brings me more pleasure than I think I've had in 20 years. And it's just something so simple and so small. And that starts to grow because you start liking that. And then that turns into, man, you come home in your evenings and you like to make my meals and I get do my laundry or do whatever. And I'm still sitting down. I can read a book. I can learn drums. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. I can watch anything on TV and watch a game and I can remember it all. And you look forward to just coming home and just sitting there. And I never thought being turning into my dad. Well, I'd always just like enjoyed coming home and sitting down after work, and he wasn't drinking, he wasn't doing anything. And that's what I turned into, and it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable just to come home and be normal. And just have conversations. People call you and you can talk. It's not like you're hammered drunk and they're like, "Well, I was drunk." Holy shit, man! Did you hear him? And it's like how embarrassing. Like, and I know I did a lot of dumb shit growing up. Trust me. Trust me, a lot of dumb shit drunk and a lot of dumb women. Like there's
what's
some
the
people that I probably wouldn't have been around with, but I just took me down a whole realm of whatever it was. But
what's the worst thing you did? You want to
oh
mention?
shit, dude.
You don't have to mention names.
Oh, who did you say? Who's the worst I did? Oh no,
No.
no,
Well, if that is,
no. I can't. She's dead, but I can't say her out loud anyway. No. Oh, dude, I don't know, man. I just how many times I've I'll tell you one horrible story. Like I was at a friend's house, Heather Running's house, and I had my dog with me, and I was driving my parents' red like Lumina. It was red Monty. It was like the '90s bubble Monte Carlo. It was red. It was just ugly color anyway. But it was my mom's car. She liked it. Well, I took it, went out to Heather Running's house out on Rail Splitter Avenue, those apartments. I got stinking drunk, ate like how many volume and shit. I guess I pulled out and I hit a horse trailer, went all the way down it, just drove all the way home. Cops were looking for me. I couldn't get out the door. I had my dog Sammy with me, his pit. I had to like crawl out the window, fell down in the road and shit. My dad's standing over me like, "What are you doing?" Because they called him, dude. I mean, I totaled my dad's car. I got taken off my dad's insurance because I wrecked both his cars, stinking
Ugh.
drunk, dude, and had no recollection of it. I mean, there's things that I've done. I've cheated on good women that I shouldn't have. Never came home, treated them like shit. Just didn't beat them, didn't do anything, but just treated them. I was a dog. I went out and got pussy when I shouldn't have, and sober, I would have never done that. I would have never done that, and just I probably broke up a family or two. But by just going out being drunk. I've destroyed cars. I've fought a lot, and just there's shit that I probably don't remember I've done. I mean, I shit my pants one time because I was so drunk. I mean, what do you think about it? I can't get to the toilet, but I can sure shit. But I was running from the glass house one night, had to take shit so bad, ended up not making it to the toilet. Shit right in front of shit my pants in front of my house. Me and tell me I just couldn't pull them down and go in the yard. That's how inebriated I was. Like just dumb, embarrassing
You had
stuff.
a
Like,
goal in mind and didn't reach it.
right. And there's probably things that I've done that I don't even know that I've done because I was so blackout drunk. It's hard telling, man. But I'm glad I don't ever have to do that again, and I don't have to go through that. And and I never got to the point of I know I got a lot of friends that have pissed themselves a lot and still do it
Mm.
while they drink. And I don't think I ever went down that route. Like I said, I shit my pants once, but that's just because I don't know. I was in the glass house. No, it was the rumors, and they didn't have the stalls on the door on the stalls. And I get naked when I poop, dude. So I couldn't do it there. So I had to take off running. That's probably why. And I just like ran all the way home and ended up shitting halfway on my front porch. It was bad. It was horrible, dude. But I don't know, brother. It's just one of the things that I'm I'm just exhausted with it, and
Yeah.
like I can't believe I wasted the money on it. Like
Oh God.
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now, not without adding up tips and shit going to the bar or throwing cocaine in there, but I'm telling you, I was throwing $1,000 a month on beer, a case a night, cigarettes, and then maybe going out at lunch, having a couple beers and tipping. That's easily $1,000 a month on beer
Oof.
that I got in my pocket now.
And you say 20, 25 years. That's
Right.
damn
That's a
near
lot of
30,
money.
30 grand just on alcohol.
Right. Right. That's a lot of money,
We're just
dude.
talking alcohol. Another
Right.
a few
Right.
grand for other
Not
stuff.
cocaine, not strippers, not no nothing. You know what I mean?
So you're in monetarily. Well, I guess you could add cigarettes in there, but Coke and alcohol probably in all 40 to 50 grand.
Right. Oh, easily.
That's
Easily.
something.
Right. If I'm doing 12,000 a year times 10 years, that's $120,000, man.
I
You
mean,
know what I mean? That's a
that's
lot of money.
college. That's scholarships. That's not all three of the boys is college,
Uh,
whatever, but
That's
that's big
that's
money.
retirement, man.
Well,
That's
yeah.
retirement. And what I did was beat up my body. Like I am just now like I'm just like so I went through this whole skinny fat. My belly just like I was pregnant when I quit drinking, and my cortisol was all messed up, sugar everywhere, and just
Living there.
and I would lose it and get big and lose it and get big, and you just don't know what you put your body through because when you quit, your body's like, what are you doing to me? Like crave sugar. Like I could eat a whole cake. Like sat down and ate a whole
Sure.
cake. And I hate cake. I don't like it at all. And I was like, man, it was just something. But now I'm getting to where my joints feel really good. Like I get out of bed and I don't care if I get 2 hours of sleep, man. It's like I'm not tired. You get up and you're a little exhausted. You got the aches and pains from just being your age a little bit, but man, it's so much better than what I was through. The energy, the focus, the no more hangovers, the headaches are gone. Just the puking every morning when you get up and blaming acid reflux. You can only do that for so long. You know what I mean? I ain't puked one morning in 6 months, dude. Not one. Not one.
Hope you don't. Yeah,
Right. And that's
that's not
crazy that
fun.
I did it every day and said, "Oh, I got acid reflux." Well, I'm eating the same shit I was eating. It's the 20 beers a night that I'm pouring down my throat. My body's pushing them back out.
That ain't a way to start the morning. You
Right.
don't have to no more.
Right. Right. It's been a blessing so far. It's been good, dude. It's been
Let
real
me
good.
let me ask you about this. Guilt. not that we haven't been serious, but um, friends and relatives over the years, just off the top of your head, how many do you think you've lost to addiction or alcohol? I
Oh
I
man,
know quite a few.
I've got a few that never had a chance to get sober. I got one that got killed in a car wreck. You know, his wife is still, she's a very bad addict, and just I just seen her at the, I went to Les Vincent's funeral, you know, and he died of, you know, alcohol, and she was there, and it was embarrassing, you know. You know, I've had some family members that had slowed up, but had gotten diabetes and quit because the alcohol caused it. I've had multiple friends that have committed suicide drunk, have, you know, just you know, two of my college buddies both died of alcoholism. You know, I got another buddy's in prison, one of my best friends growing up, and he's locked up, you know, just out of the blue, you know, drank every day, but then decided to start meth, and I can tell you there's, I could probably count 10, 15 people, and just in my life, family and friends alone, that have some degree of drugs or alcohol has put a burden on their life, you know, or ruined it. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what good has come of it. You know,
I mean, in perspective, that's almost a whole classroom
right,
full of people.
right.
I mean, just to kind of put it in perspective, maybe a little less, but you know, is that part of what drives you? Is because my thinking is on this, and this is just me personally, but you know, sir, every town has a core of friends from school that start partying, sports, whatever. Then you go to the bars because you're all 21. Then you part after hours. So you kind of stick around the same circles. Years go
Mhm.
by. So now you're in your 40s and 50s, whatever, the family and everything else, and it's just like uh, we're still kind of drinking and partying. Well, maybe I have to now. I don't party as much, but I still have to do, a couple drinks or this and that. And I think there's so many people that want to break out of that, but they just don't see anybody else around really doing it. And like you said, I think the stigma to that is like nobody wants to be like, I'm getting sober. I was a drunk and I did a lot of bad stuff, like how you were just owning your stuff. Some might call that glamorizing, talking about some bad moments, some embarrassing moments, but that's just owning your stuff. A lot of people
Right.
can't get past that. And it
It's, you
really
know,
decreases the chances if they
what,
can't open up about it. Is
so
that
what
what drives you somewhat?
so to reach on that is I I will say, like, I'm not going to say any names of who's reached out to me or who's talked to me or anything, but I will tell you, from the first month or two, there wasn't anybody, and I'm sure it's the same shit. Oh well, okay, he's getting sober, whatever. Well, I'll see him, you know, because everybody wants you to do bad. You know, there's very rarely many people that are like, "Good for you, hey, thank you." You know what I mean? Until you
Mhm.
really get going, then your true people come out, and true friends come in. I'm not,
Yeah.
maybe I worded that wrong, but the people that are drinking alcohol, that are your buddies and shit, they don't want to see you get sober, because that means they gotta. What are they gonna do? Turn around, look in the mirror, and be uncomfortable with themselves, and open it
True.
up, and admit, you know, it. And I will tell you that once I got to about 3, 4, 5 to now, it is, you know, there's 4, 5, 6 people a day that are messaging me or calling me, and it's like, hey, good for you, thank you so much, hey man, I'm your, you know, your story's inspiring me, you know, I've got some issues, but I, you know, I would like to help, please keep posting, you know, I'm not ready yet, but thank you, you know. So I know that there's that knock on that door. There's that me 4 months before I quit that was watching those Instagram videos, and really wanting it, but I still couldn't get it, you know. So I think that there's a lot of people out there in our group and our friends, and that that want to quit, that want an avenue, that want to come out and say it. But I do think that they're embarrassed, and I do think that it's hard for
What about
people,
the
you
home?
know, especially in that town, you know,
Yeah.
because everybody's judgmental, and it's small, and they're up your ass, and they're up your, oh, did you see so and so said this and so said this? Fuck you, who gives a fuck? You all got demons just like me. You ain't no better than me, and I ain't no better than you. The fact of the matter is I own my shit, and that's it, you know. So I want people to have somebody to talk to, and to come out and say, you know, your name and your word's safe with me. I ain't gonna judge you. I mean, trust me, I won't judge you, because There's things that I've done that I'm not happy and I'm not proud of, but I'll sit down and I'll own them and I'll tell you, and it is what it is. I'm an open book. What you see is what you get with me. I'm like mustard. I'm an acquired taste. You like me or you don't. That's it. Plain and simple.
I mean,
But I'm telling you, as I'll have your back. If you ever want to get sober, I'll talk to you. And it's not an overnight thing. And I don't care if it's 3 days. If you're sober for 3 days and you drink the fourth, you don't. There's no reason to beat yourself up for it, because it's the way I look at it is, I'm no two-trip Tammy when I grab groceries from the car. It's one trip. I get them all loaded up and I go. So if I go to my car and I load up all my groceries and I trip at the door, do I get back up, walk all the way back to the truck, put them back in there, and then put them all back and then try again? No, I pick myself up right where I was at. I dust myself off and I keep moving forward, and that's it. You know what? You got to look at it. Hey, I went 60 days. I drank on day 61. You're not redoing it over again. As long as you keep going, you look at it as, hey, man, I drank once in 61 days versus you drank every day for 61 days.
yeah, that's true.
There's got to be some kind of positive in it. And, because it's not easy. If being sober was easy, everybody would fucking do it. And it's not easy. And I'm not sitting here saying it's easy. I do go through struggles and I do my thing. And it's been easier than I thought is probably how I should say it. But that could be a catch-22 to somebody. My first 2 weeks were miserable. Nobody wanted to see me, and I was uncomfortable, and I thought, what am I doing? And I hated life, and I didn't know what was going on. And then I just kind of had to ease into it, and month one was tough, and month two there was some tough shit in there, but then it just kind of I felt better and I looked better, and I was having meaningful conversations with people that I loved, and that's what mattered. That is what mattered, and like Cheyenne, she didn't know for months that she was the reason why I guess the reason that's what sparked it, and like, when I told her in that back, and I went over in her backyard and I told her, and I could kind of see that, she got just a tad bit emotional. You could see it, and she just, I love you, and gave me a hug, and she was really proud that, that she did that and stuff. And sometimes it just takes one person to say something, to help, to trigger something, to help somebody, and I just want to get it out there to be like, there ain't nothing to be embarrassed about. I'm tired of seeing my friends die. I'm tired of hearing about people locked up, or seeing, last I was in Lincoln, man, I seen a guy, I won't say his name, but this big around man, who was a buddy of mine, then wouldn't look me in the eyes, and looking at, like, when am I going to get the call that he's dead? When is that call going to come? Because, and who the fuck's helping him? Who's saying anything? Look the other way and let it be.
Well,
Right.
that's the thing. It's like it's rare for anybody to get help, because the ones that might help somebody, they're going to be judged and criticized too, and mocked. And, well, why are you helping him? You're just as bad as he is. You got your. It's like everybody's so quick to like throw dirt on everybody else. It's just like, suffer like everybody else. It's like, I thought we were partying. Now we're suffering, and I can't break out of it. I can't
Right.
help somebody else.
Right. Right.
And it's
I
like,
can't.
the biggest thing about all this for me was, I know the town I live in, and like, I've done a lot of stuff, but I've purged that for like the first year. I'm like, I'll tell you exactly what I did in my addiction and all this other stuff, because people will take one little bit and then add on 90% of BS to it, and then that's what everybody else hears.
Right.
Then I would get stuck on defending myself, and that makes me look more guilty. So I'm like, I'll just throw everything out there that I've done. And I I don't think that, a lot of people are willing to do that, but it's just an absolute necessity. So,
Right.
if I'm sitting here saying I want to help somebody, I want to have a bigger impact on my own town and my own son, for that matter, my family. I can't do that if I'm going to be hiding and lying about stuff and exaggerating, or trying to like keep this hush hush. I mean, there is no recovery without accountability. You have to own all your stuff. And the more people that see people doing that, I think will be like, okay, because everybody just wants to fit in at the end of the day. It's
Right.
not any different now than it was in high school. That's
Right.
what that table at the high school cafeteria was about, and here and here and here. So if they see people going this route, that gives them to like, well, I want to go there too. That's all my buddies getting sober. Well,
Right.
I want to hang out with them. This is what we got to do. Okay.
Right.
That's just turning it all around. But if you can't face yourself, you're just going to talk about everybody else. And unfortunately, that's a lot of people will. It's not for recovery. Isn't for everybody. And I accept that. I wish I had a magic wand that could just do it to everybody, but um, as long as there's one, I think
Right.
that makes a big difference. And the ones that want it, we just have to keep, living the way we live every day and try to get better with it. Because, like you said, if you fall and you have a couple, this and that and the other, that it doesn't mean that I lost Beau. Well, I lost Beau. I was talking about. Let me get him back in here. Here he is.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was being nosy.
I'm watching for a minute. I
Go
was just
ahead.
gonna say, I looked up. I'm like, oh crap! I'm talking to myself, which isn't
Yeah,
uncommon. But
right,
man, I like that analogy about if you have a couple or do this, you don't have to dive right back into the addiction. I mean,
right,
I've heard a lot of people this last year, they go out for a day or two or a night, and they're like, it wasn't like nothing. It wasn't like it was before. I hated it. I didn't even
right.
enjoy it. I got sick or whatever. I threw the rest away, poured it out. I'm like, okay, well, that's. I look at
Growth,
that
man.
sometimes
It's
as almost a
growth.
good thing because now you know even more that you don't want to do it. You could
Right,
go have a couple of beers right now and be like, "Dude, I can't even stand the taste of that." Good. That
right.
just makes it more,
Makes it
solidified.
right. You're not supposed to be doing it, and to me, is I got a lot of people there, that have reached out and say, I'll probably just drink on weekends and shit. That for me, that's not it wouldn't work. Like I said, I can control not having that first beer. I'm good. Well, I can control. Nope, I'm not drinking. I don't drink. I don't say I'm trying to quit drinking. I always say I don't drink. Just
Yeah, I
it's
don't
just two
agree.
different things. I don't drink, so just let it be. I know that if I have that first drink, get ready because it's all night long. I won't stop. And I'm that person. I can't have 6 beers. I can't drink on Saturdays. I can't drink on Sunday fun days because it's football. I can't do that, And it's just and that was like what and that I say that one of my thoughts when I was quitting drinking is like, what am I gonna do on Sundays when I'm watching football? And I'm so mad about it. And I was like, shit, I could care less, man. I'm gonna eat some good food. I'm gonna sit down, enjoy a football game, and I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna get up and work early and not be hungover, not feel like shit, and I'm just gonna kill it. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. It's been a blessing for sure. I know there's a lot of people that are going through things, whether it's alcohol or weight gain or porn or whatever drug or addiction that they have.
Gambling's a big one.
Food, yeah, gambling's a big one too. And it's just there's a community out there, people that help you, and it's all walks of life, like, and I don't ever say this to be egotistical. I was 3 sport athlete, and you dated women and popular and I think we look at addicts and we think they should look like that crackhead on the street corner,
Mhm.
begging for change, and that's so far from the truth. Is there's so many people like me in my realm, in my world,
CEOs.
in Walmart that are freaking hiding demons, drunks, and wishing they could quit, don't know how to say it, embarrassed to say it around their kids, or embarrassed to say it around their wife, or embarrassed to say it around their friends or family because they just don't have, there's no open avenue for it. So I just really want people to think, keep messaging me, keep talking to me. I won't, it stays between us, and unless you want more help and you want it, then I'll try to guide you where I can. And I just think there's a whole different community and a whole different world. Is once if they could just see it, just once you get a little
Yeah.
taste of being sober, it's so different,
A
man.
dose of hope, man. A dose of hope.
Right,
I'm not. I'm
right,
not supposed to be sitting here sober. Creeping
right,
up on 2 years, God willing. I know what it took. I know what I went through to get it. I'm fortunate and blessed. Monetarily wise, ain't got a whole lot, owe a lot in debt and everything like that. But I've never been happier or more at peace with myself than I am today. Like I'm with the greatest woman I've ever met. 13 years, God willing. Don't know. I mean, I know how we got together in the first place, but for her to stick around with me through all this and all the years, it's a miracle. And all I want to do for the rest of my life is just lift people up, man. I don't want to know about your addiction so much. I just want to know who you are, who you were
right,
before you picked up. What dreams and aspirations do you still have? Is it
Right.
just to get drunk tomorrow or get a bag tomorrow to ride the bike around through the town?
Right.
I mean, dude, I DoorDash and I see the same people walking the same streets, the same block, just sitting on
Right.
curbs sometimes. I'm like, it kills me. I'm like,
Right.
I just want to get out of the car and just have like have them have like a Cheyenne moment. Just say
Right.
something. That they get up and you see the lights come on and they're like, yeah, I can live. I'm like, you damn right you can live. You don't ever have to sit here or pick up again.
Right.
Um, that's what drives me.
Right.
And I love the fact that, you're from this town, so you know all about this town. And like we don't have a history of hanging out or nothing like that, man, but we do know some of the same people. But your passion for trying to help people, I think maybe mirrors mine in a way. And I hope to God that God sees it, and the plans for us to like come together more often and just tell our stories and be there with people.
Right.
I really appreciate it because I'm like, yeah, I got a big Facebook group and met a lot of people through the years, but they're all out of town in different cities. I'm like, what am I
Right.
doing in my own town, Deb? Like, I'm not even having an impact on my own son. Like, what's going on? But I trust God in that sense. I trust that like sometimes I can want to jump ahead and now I'm interfering with stuff and I could possibly make things worse because I'm so eager to help and to say the right
Right.
word. But
Right.
it takes conversations like this with you to like, bounce ideas off of each other and be like, hey, look, try to do it like this. And like you said, you don't want to like throw too much out there on somebody at first. You just kind of want to match what they give you.
Right. Right.
Um,
I don't want to be, to me is if you want to drink, drink, it is what it is. I'm just going to tell you what it did for me. And I'm going to
mhm.
tell you what I think it does. I'm no doctor, but I mean I've lived it. I know it. I've read it. It is what it is. I'm not going to be just so judgmental. And be like, well, I don't drink, so I can't. No bullshit. I mean, if you want to drink, go ahead and drink. I'll sit down with you either way. But I also just think is there's a lot of people I think that are there and are hiding behind the mask of it and want some help and want to be able to say, hey, I'm an alcoholic or I'm whatever or I'm struggling and I just hope that they see this or see one of us or one of our friends or Debbie or whatever and just say, hey, he did it. And that's what they tell me too, is a lot of that is, you can do it, I can do it. Well, you're fucking right, man. You know what? I if I can do it, you can do it. And I mean that with any ounce of it. No matter how bad off you think you are, I was just as bad off, and there was those nights, man, where it was 3 in the morning and I was itching to have a drink, and you just feel so alone, so alone, so alone. But you got to think there's probably 300,000 people in that world
Yeah.
at that same moment with you, not wanting to drink or wanting to do it, and they're in that same moment of struggling and hurting and going through it. But there's help there, there's ears there, and it's just one text, one phone call at a time, and I'm not praying or saying I'm gonna save you overnight, or I'm just here to talk. Even if you just want to talk while you're drinking a beer, I don't care. If you want to talk about it and be open, then we can. But I do owe Debbie a tire. Did she tell you that story? I forgot about that. That's one of our drunken nights too. That
Well,
I
yeah. I
I,
mean,
I
you
forgot
still,
about that.
yeah, she's mentioned that one. That was a pretty funny story. And she just really had nothing, but good stuff to say about you. Like you
Right.
didn't lose. There's a lot of part like there's times where you said, hey man, I was on a rager some nights, but for the most part, no matter what you were doing, like if somebody was in need of something or some help or whatever, you'd probably be the guy. Like if some little dude was getting beat up, you'd step in there and then help him out. Like you didn't lose your heart, you didn't lose that humility. There was always a
No.
good person there.
Right. There's
You were Jekyll and Hyde for sure, but I
right,
mean the
right.
good
It
parts
was there
are who
was
you are now.
right. The person that you are is in there for sure. And I think just alcohol just takes a hold of people and your inhibitions go, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And sometimes you just I found out, like I thought it was funny. I thought it helped me get the girl. I never thought it made me the center of the room. And it's just kind of just I found out that's just who the fuck I am. You know what I mean? I think I'm funny as shit. I still have fun, and I'm still center of the room when I'm going and hanging out and stuff. And I think it's just my personality and who I am. And I think I can probably pull a girl or two. I don't know. We'll see. I'm older now, but I
Well,
just still think that it has nothing to do with the alcohol. It didn't give me no confidence. Halftime it made me look like a fool,
well,
and you think that it's not this wonder thing in a bottle. It's
mm,
the person that you are. You're there, and I was a good person here and there, but I just think it just made me make some bad decisions and some bad choices, and I think that that's what brought me down, and that's kind of making one or two bad decisions and thinking that you can't live with it, so you just drink it and bury it and
yeah,
bury it. And I think that adds to the bad attitude, that adds to the
of course.
poison, and that adds to the fighting and what you're really hiding when you're out. And it's just a vicious cycle, man.
Dead end.
It is, and there's
I mean,
nothing.
it breaks the inhibitions and all that, and gets you loosened up and everything like that. But like, it also kind of drowns out some morals at the same time because you're
Right,
like, I am kind of, I'm not shy, but now all of a sudden you're just overwhelming. You're just
right.
too much of
Yeah,
this. You know what I mean?
got my
And
dick out on the table. Yeah, just doing
yeah,
what
you
it
know,
is. Yeah, right,
you can just talk about it, but you actually do it, and oh, it's hilarious, whatever. But
right.
it's a maturing thing too. I think at a certain level, like, I mean, are you cool enough without the alcohol? Some people may think they're not.
Right.
And I mean, I've never had a big opinion of myself one way or another, but I was just like, I definitely don't like who I am, doing the coke and crack and alcohol. I'm like, this can't be me. Like,
Right.
I'm not just made for this. There's no way. I mean, I
Yeah.
bought the ticket and took the ride, but I mean, fortunately enough, there was a detour to a better life. And
Right.
because it was, I was done. I was out of here a couple years ago. I was planning on not being here.
Right.
Um, I mean, not dramatically. I don't exaggerate stuff, but without like the extra whatever. I just got a text a few minutes before I was gonna off myself, and it changed everything. And then the rest is history. And this is what I'll be doing the rest of my life, man. Just trying to get better. I want to start eating better. I want to get to the gym. I'm not even that big. Like in a month, I know I could probably be in real decent shape, lose some pounds. I
Yeah,
got
but
to
you're
trim
only
my
like
body
four
back.
foot tall, dude.
Ah, well,
100 pounds of 4
7,
foot tall. That's still look like a tater tot.
5'7". Hey,
Right,
God knew He didn't want to make me too tall and too big. I mean, I would have
right.
caused a hell of a lot of fights. That's probably why me and you didn't hang around so much. We got somewhat similar personalities. We probably would have fought a few times. I don't know,
Yeah. Oh,
but
it'll
we
get
could
you,
have had some
man.
fun too.
Yeah, right, right.
But
I smoked crack, did coke, did all that too. It wasn't just the alcohol.
oh,
It all
illegal,
led
you did?
to.
Crazy! I
Yeah,
didn't know
bro.
they did that in this town.
I've done meth myself, man. I've
Oh,
done it
dude,
all.
everybody our age, I guarantee you, has at least done a little bit. But
The only thing I ain't done is heroin because I don't like no needles. But like I said, man,
I
I've smoked meth, I've smoked crack, I've done
see meth
coke plenty of
never.
times, man.
I don't know if you'll believe me, but meth never had. I don't know what it was, but it never had either. I did it wrong or it didn't have an effect on me. I only ever smoked it a few times, but I didn't feel nothing. Heroin one time, snorted it and was just passing out. I'm not a downer guy, so I'm
Oh
not
man,
doing this. I drank a bunch of
meth,
Red Bulls, puked, and went to work.
yeah, yeah, meth screwed me up, dude. It made me dirty, dude. I was
Yeah,
up 3 days
they say
banging
that's
every fat girl I could find, dude. Anything. It was
listen,
horrible, dude.
gotta
It
have
was
goals in
bad.
life, man. That's okay.
Yeah, it was bad. It was just I would never done it if it wasn't for the alcohol leading me into that after hours that night. You know what I mean? It's just it is what it is,
Demons,
man.
demons on top of demons.
Right. But at
Um,
least I'm here to talk about it and be open about it. And like I said, I don't there's a lot to me, and a lot that I've did and a lot of people I hurt and I'm working through that and I'll
sure,
make my amends with people and I'll apologize to who I need to and and I try to and I take it seriously, but just it life's a blessing, man. And I got to figure, I'm going to be 48. there's way more years behind me than there are ahead of me, and I'll be damned if I'm going to spend another day drunk, puking,
I feel
hungover,
that way too.
miserable in bed, and just no way anymore, man. It's just there's way too much out there, and I do live in Florida, and there's a shit ton to do here, and it's fun, and it helps, it helps me. But it's like I don't do anything different than what I would do in Lincoln. I'd still ride my motorcycle, I'd still go to the gym, but it's just slowly, and that's kind of different too. Is every time I was working out or doing something, it was I'd always come home and finish with beer, or so you didn't really get your true progress, or you didn't get to see any growth or goals or anything in it, and now it's kind of like you're in the gym, even though you're 48, it's not the same as it was, but you feel a little better. You're not coming home and pumping alcohol straight down your throat after you just worked 45 minutes in the gym to an hour, and you're it's such a better quality of life, now, and just the way you attack things and the way you look at things and the way you present yourself too is so different now. Like the last time I went home, I think I've been home. I came home twice. We came home in May, and then I was home one more time. My cat's trying to get up here, but just the conversations I've had with people sitting down, and I used to never want to come home. I didn't like it. I'd end up at the OK chasing the same bottle, chasing same tail, so watching that kid where his dad sat, where his kid's sitting at now, and just the same vicious cycle. And I just didn't like it. And now when I come home, man, it's like, I'm having dinner with friends, and we're having meaningful conversations. And I just went and sat up Serenos for a couple hours, with a good friend of mine, Aletha Hoagland and Ely, and Brooke Vincent and all them. We all just went up there, and it was nice to sit down and eat and have dinner, not have alcohol, and just enjoy life, and be able to breathe it, and function, and remember it. It's such a blessing, to be here, and it's I don't want to waste it being drunk, and I don't want to waste it being mean to somebody because of alcohol. I just want to, if I'm gonna be mean to you, it's because you deserved it. That's just life. But
I hear you.
I don't want to waste it because of something man-made. I'm guzzling down, and it just turns me into a demon, or turns me into something that I'm not proud of, and it turns me into something that my boys aren't proud of, and I know that. And I will tell you is, some of these people that hit me up and are talking, well, I drink in front of my kids and they're okay. I will tell you this: if you get sober and your kids see you sober, I promise you, 10 out of 10 10 out of 10 times those kids will want you sober versus drunk. No matter if you don't think you're bad when you drink, no matter if your kids laugh and joke, I'm telling you that if you are around your kids sober, and they get to experience that, and they get to see the real you and see who you are, they will take sober you over the drunk you any day of the week.
I
Period.
believe that.
It's just the way it is, and
I
it's
believe
and
that.
it's true. And another thing is, I just it was just the other night. I think it was Lance Armstrong's gotten. He was talking about getting sober, and it was just this quick thing. And he says, "You know what?" He goes, "I will tell you this right now." He goes, not one person in the history of getting sober has ever regretted it. Not one.
Right.
Not
Nope.
one." And that is a statistic that is insane. So if it's not worth giving it a shot, you know, I don't know what is then. So I just hope that we can, I wouldn't mind talking, every week or coming home. Like I said, I think there's enough people that, we might have to just kind of get it out there a little bit, but I wouldn't mind coming home, doing a little podcast, getting some people on, going, sitting down somewhere and having coffee, just putting it out there. Hey, me and Trevor are going to be at McDonald's at 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's have some coffee. You ain't got to be there. You ain't got to, I mean, you ain't got to say anything. You ain't got to, we won't say nothing, or just come in and say hi. It doesn't have to be a intervention shit. It's just sit down and talk about it. Have,
Don't think it is.
just be there, be more of a community, I don't know.
I'm willing to show up if we need to do interventions. We can go.
Right.
What's
Well,
that?
I'll bring some coffee and hang out, but it's just, I just know there's a lot of people that are right there, man. And
Yeah.
and they're asking for help, and they're talking about it, and they're like, just, there's a girl that
And
I've just talked to today, and I think she's like, I this don't sound like much, but I haven't drank since Saturday, and that's a big deal, man. That's
has
Thursday.
to
What is
be.
that, 5 days? That's a big deal. That's a big deal. You should celebrate that, and it's just, that, hey, thank you for listening. That one talk that we had out of the blue, has now sparked something that, that she could say something to somebody. Maybe it ain't hers right now, but she could say something and somebody could see what she's doing and just carry it down the road because,
Yes.
at some point, you can save somebody from dying 30 years early or 20 years early
I
or
think the opposite of addiction is connection. So it's just like, I mean, the more people that can get 5 days and a month and 30 days, 60 days, and they do it because they heard somebody else come out and talk about they could do it when a lot of people never expected them to.
right.
It gives them hope, and it's like we're at that age where it's like midlife crisis or midlife revival. I mean, which one you want to have? Because, like you say, there might be a short window. A lot of people that keep on going the way they've been going may not have a whole lot of years left to be able to do it. So I
Right.
do think that window of opportunity, closes a little bit more every day. I mean, we're not 18 no more. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
18 to 48 went by like that.
Right. Quickly. And
I mean,
I didn't even
so
look at the way I should have.
there's just more to life to it than that. And people, it doesn't have to like, well, that's all I do. Everybody I hang out with drinks. We all get together. We do this and do that. Well,
Well,
are
that's
you
the way
cool enough to move away from that or
yeah,
not? Not a new trend.
that's the thing too is, well, everybody I hung out with Drake too.
Right.
That's the way I tell them too. With the same group, man, or,
It's,
everybody that I
this is
hung out
what we're
with,
doing now.
associated with, drank because I was an alcoholic. I didn't go to church to hang out with people. I was an alcoholic. I hung out with
Yeah.
other alcoholics. You tend to go to a bar when you're an alcoholic. Guess who's in the bar? Other alcoholics. So that's no damn excuse. It is either
No,
you
it's
want
not.
it or you don't. And it's just that uncomfortable getting through it. And I had them thoughts too. I live in St. Pete, man, and I'm you know 10 blocks that way, and there's 1,000 bars up one of the hottest strips around. And I thought, man, I'm gonna quit drinking. I live in Florida, and I kept thinking, well, yeah, I'm gonna quit drinking because I want to enjoy living in Florida, and I want to be a grandfather, and I want to be there for my kids, and I don't want to die at 52. you know
Oh,
you
it's
know
not.
I want to I want to be healthy. It's setting goals and working on my credit and putting money up for my retirement and buying, looking at rental houses to buy and get leave something for my kids to have and so they don't have to work as hard as I did, or just to sit back and know that, hey, my dad did something really hard and he got sober and I'm glad he did. And that's more of it ain't the legacy of making money and having the big fancy cars and shit like that. To me, it is, I want my kids to sit back when I'm gone and say, the last 30, 40 years of my dad's life, he was sober. Like I told you, my grandkids won't know drunk Beau. They
I
won't
love
know what that's like. You know what I mean? Now, my kids can say, oh, dad was drunk, grandpa was drunk, but they'll never see
it.
it. They'll never see it, and that's my goal is that, and that's why I don't drink every day. That's why I don't
And
pick it up, because that right there is that my goal. My grandkids will never
yeah,
see me drink.
and
Period. That's it.
nor will your sons have to like make excuses for grandpa. Why
Right.
can't grandpa come to our party today? Or what
Right.
happened?
Well, yeah.
Why is he
Grandpa's home and drunk.
sleeping?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you could
Yeah.
think of all the way life would be if you continued on. Like it,
Right.
your son's got to uh, move on to some extent. Like they can't talk to you
Right.
after 8 o'clock. You're
Right.
passing out. You can't come over here. I mean, what are they
No.
supposed to do? They can't babysit you. Like you're
No.
the dad. They can't
No.
dad you.
No. And they shouldn't have to. And that's just another thing. It is so it's so powerful to me not having that, like that. How I can word this, that relationship, that goal, what I wanting is to make my kids proud now of being sober and doing something hard, to never have my grandkids see me
Mm-hmm.
drink, or to them to think that that's normal, to that, like
Mm-hmm.
just like Cheyenne said, I don't want them to think that that's normal, that it's, oh, every night we go to grandpa's house, grandpa's drunk, or hey, we go to grandpa's fun because he's drunk all the time, or I don't want that shit, and I don't, and that there drives me, and that there is one of my biggest factors, one of my biggest goals as to why I don't drink and how I don't drink. It's when I get that urge, I think, no, my grandkids ain't gonna see it, and it's there for 30 seconds to a minute, and it's just on down the road. And then I'm back at work, or I'm jump on the motorcycle and I'm at the gym, and or go to the beach, and that's it. I got a second shot at life, and
Yep.
I live in a I live in a cool place, and where the grandkids can come, and we're at the beach all the time, and I'm 15, 20 minutes from Disney World, and you
Mhm.
know what I mean? And Grandpa's a good place to visit, and it'd be so nice to be sober, and that $1,000 a fucking month I could spend on my grandbabies, and it's such a big ass blessing, and
They deserve it.
and it's just not even just to have the money, but it's nice to have that money that you would always spend on, because I would always be like, well, I can only buy this much groceries because gotta make sure I got beer every night for 2 weeks, and now it's just nice to be like, hey, grandkids need clothes, or hey, I'll buy the beds, or hey, here's $400 for a crib, and not even think about it, because it's what you just threw down your throat for years and
Yeah.
years and years, and
Well,
now it's just sitting in the bank.
you were saying how you threw like 5 cases away. I mean, if that was a regular basis, that's a couple $100
Right,
every 5 cases.
right,
So to to be able to have that back now and know that you're not going to be spending it on all that. I mean,
right,
that's freedom just in and of itself. Yeah. So why not spoil the kids and grandkids?
right,
Um,
right,
you're around to be able to do it for one thing.
right. It's just been a blessing. Like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I'm only 6, 7 months into it. Right, I feel great. It's everything's been good as far as feeling good and being good. There's days where it's I struggle, and there's days where I gotta I'll watch a couple Instagram videos. That Josh Brolin, I connect with him,
Hmm.
and his journey in alcoholism, because we're kind of both the same, and how we both liked it, and it was fuel, and so that kind of gives me a little bit here and there. But it's been just a blessing, and I feel really lucky to be where I'm at, and I feel that there's this second shot at life and this second chance, and I think that I want to help people, and I think it's just, whether it's getting out there and telling my story, or just to listen. I'm not telling you got to quit drinking when you talk to me. I'm not saying you're gonna quit tomorrow just because we have a conversation. I'm just going to tell these people that I'm here, and it's an ear, and I've been there, and I won't fucking judge you one bit, man. I've been the guy that shit his pants and fell down, sat in it, and I've cheated on my wife, and I've wrecked my cars, and I've ruined relationships, and I punched my best friend in the face, and I banged his wife, and I've done all the bad fucking things you could possibly fucking think. I've done it all. I've done it all. I've smoked meth. I've smoked crack. I've done it, every fucking bit of it, man. And there ain't nothing you're gonna say is gonna shock me, and there ain't nothing you're gonna say is gonna turn me away. And to me, is I'd just rather get it out there, and I'd rather help you, and just to experience this. To me, is there's no greater gift I could give you than the ability to see how I feel, and to see what I see being sober, because it'll change your fucking life. It'll change it completely. It's a whole different world, man. It's a whole different world,
And
and it's
everybody deserves
insane.
it. I mean,
Right?
can you think of anybody who doesn't deserve it?
No, not at all. Not at all. Maybe some
Um,
Cardinal fans, but other than that, that's it. I don't
so
think so.
ironically, this is the last question I got for you. I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but 30 years class reunion coming up. You said you're
Right.
coming. It's
I'm
not my
coming.
class.
Well,
I'm
more
gonna
than one. Hopefully, more than one way.
you're gonna
Let
you're gonna see,
is. Let is. Oh, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm coming. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but I mean, so that you've been in other situations. You were out with the boss, and in St. Pete and stuff, and you're not drinking. But that's gonna be your hometown. It's gonna be your class. There's gonna
Right.
be people drinking there. I
Right.
don't know. I
Right.
don't know where we're gonna have it. Maybe at the
We're
American
doing
Legion or somewhere. But
no, we're doing the homecoming. We're doing a homecoming dance,
oh,
or homecoming game. We're coming back for the homecoming. I don't know where they're going to have it at, but yeah, I think we're doing a homecoming game.
okay,
Football. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to do the beer tent just because I don't the Logan County Fair. I'm just not a
yeah.
big fan of Logan County Fair. Um, but what's your question? You think I'll be
Well, I
okay?
mean,
What?
there's always alcohol involved. I mean, how you gonna just walk around and drink
Yeah,
water and Sprite or
I
something?
think I don't really have the issue for it. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be fun seeing everybody. I think there's this whole new twist on life and what I think is fun. And fucking getting drunk and pouring poison down my throat
How long do you
isn't even sexy to me anymore. You know what I
how
mean?
long do you
Like
think you
going
can
and
hang how long do
seeing.
you think you're going to be able to hang around? I mean, because there's people that's going to drink. How long do you
Oh,
think you're
dude,
going to
I
be
could
able to hang
probably hang
around?
around. I could probably hang around. It just depends on which lucky lady wants me to go down to the Marriott with her or something. What hotels are out there? The Budget Inn, is that still there? We'll go to the Budget Inn. I
It's
don't
called the
know. Let's tell
quality. It's called the quality.
See, there we go. I'll get 2 hotel rooms.
But,
So, so
um,
I don't know. It depends on how the night goes and how long I stay there. But
okay.
I don't see it being an issue, man. Like,
Mhm.
where I live down here, there's more alcohol. Every corner is a bar, a tiki bar, a a just it's
Right, but
everywhere. It's everywhere here. So
these
I
are
don't
all
care what restaurant you go to, everybody's drinking. It's tourist, tourist, tourist. I don't think it'll be a problem at all. I
but
think I'll
these
go
are all
there
the
and hang
people
out.
that you really know, like personally. So that's
Right.
going to be a lot of people that are going to be kind of like looking
Looking
to
at me.
see if he's going to have a drink in his hand before too long. There's going to be a lot of people that support you and a lot
Right.
of doubters. Like I don't think
Right.
anybody's going to come up to you and start any shit, but there's
Right.
going to be plenty that's going to be like, it's been an hour, he's still not drinking. I
No.
mean, so to be that example, I mean, you're going to have fun and meet a lot of people, but
Right.
yeah, I'd be kind of getting thrown right into the fire because there'll be some people probably standing off to the side being like, he's going to get a beer before too long or
No.
something.
No,
And somebody will
there's
probably say they saw you drinking. You
yeah,
know, it's
there's
leaking. I seen
yeah,
him have one when he left. He
right,
got a six
right.
pack.
Right. He got drunk. Listen, there's always them naysayers that are always there's them guys that are gonna tell you, oh, congratulations, but are looking and wanting you to drink. They're just wanting to see you do
100%.
bad because they're just miserable themselves. And that's just how it
100%.
is. But
But still,
I just tell you, I'm out there. Everybody in my class, whether the class reunion or not, they know that I'm sober. So shame on you if you try to push it on me. But I would really just don't have the
but you
urge
still root
now.
for them people, though, don't you? Like,
Right.
even if
Fucking
they like
right.
kind of, if they're two
Right.
faced, you still would root for them. They
Right.
just ain't there yet.
And the fact is they're just miserable right now. You know what I mean? And if they had a chance to just really enjoy life, the finer things of it, I think what typically was always a big problem really isn't that big of a problem when you cut the addiction and the alcohol out and you start thinking normal and you're kind of like, well, life is
100%.
good. You know what I mean? I need some bad to appreciate the good.
That
If it
was
was
my
good all the
problem.
time, you wouldn't appreciate it. But I'm telling
Right?
you, when the bad comes there, the bad ain't that bad. So you just kind of live a happy life. But I have no worries about it, man. I have no worries about it at all.
Well, I'll have to see it, man. If like you come up the day of or the day before, I mean, we'll have to get together. We'll
Well,
have time.
I'm coming home, so I'm gonna start. So trying to think here. I'm gonna start coming home once a month. I was gonna come home next weekend, but I don't know if that card's right. So my boss is heading to Italy for 6 weeks, or in Italy for 6 weeks. So I'm it's only just me and then another person kind of here holding the fort down for all the houses. But I will be able to come home every weekend or every one a weekend every month. So I'm gonna probably come home the end of August, beginning of September, and I'll come home once a weekend every month. Just kind of see my dad and see some friends. I got a friend's mom that ain't doing real good. One of my good friends, she's got cancer, so I just really want to spend the last bit of time she has, and just be around. And like I said, I don't mind the trips home anymore because they're different and I'm sober and the people I'm seeing and the quality of conversations I'm having is good. And like I said, I would really like to just if somebody wants some help and wants to talk, I can always come home once a month. I can come home every weekend if need be. It's just I got that. I got blessed with work and I got blessed with a decent boss and I got blessed with a boss that knows that I'm trying to do some good things and I don't have to be here every weekend. I can always fly home and help or do whatever if something gets taken off. But I will
Yeah.
definitely still be living in Florida. I don't want anybody to take that as I'm moving to Lincoln. Screw that. I'm still living in St. Pete, but
Yeah, I'm still
I
trying.
don't mind helping and doing some things like that. But
I'm still trying
yeah,
to figure out how to get me and Deb down there in a few years. I don't know if DoorDashing's going to do it, but if God makes a way, He makes a way. But
well,
he deserves a good vacation for sure. I know that.
tickets are cheap, dude. To fly,
It's
they're
true.
cheap. Sell on Legion. Go
I
in the
hate
side now.
flying. I hate flying, but I would for her.
Just drive down.
Hey, we could drive.
Yeah, drive
Um,
down.
Bo,
I got
go ahead, man.
I got room. There's room
Yeah,
here, man. Room and board, buddy.
appreciate that. Leave that as an option. I mean, I'm
No,
not shy. Bro, this has been awesome. It really has. I appreciate it. I think the comments got messed up on the YouTube, but it'll be all right because it'll be played. It'll be on the GBR page and YouTube and your page and everything like that. Let me know. Let me know how many messages you get. Any questions you have for me,
I will.
now
I'm
and
gonna get
then,
some
let me know.
messages on my girl's glasses because I don't know where I got these from, but at least I can see. They're all right. I don't have much, man. I just appreciate the opportunity, and like I said, I just want to stay focused on being available and being here for people that need some help, and whether it's just to talk through it tonight or I'm not saying it's not as extreme as an intervention. It's not as extreme as, oh, you need to quit. It's just, if you just want me to listen to you vent for a minute and just
Yeah.
breathe and then go on about your life and your day, I'm here. But I would like to make a bigger impact on my old town and my old friends, and let them know that there is hope, and there is a different life after that. No matter how far down you think you are in them trenches, there's always hope. There's
Oh,
always
they're still
something.
breathing, man. There's a chance.
Right,
There
right,
is. All you need is a little bit of hope,
right.
man.
And then just go ahead.
I appreciate you, Bo. Any last things you want to say before we get out of here? I'll pray us out, man, and maybe
No, I think
hit you
I'm
up.
good. I think I'm good. Just ready for this class reunion now, since you got it all out here. So I see how it is.
Yeah,
So
29th, isn't it?
I don't know when it is. It's next October though, right?
I think Deb knows. I thought it
Yeah,
was August 29th. No, yeah,
no,
October something.
it's
She'll tell
October,
me.
but it's next October.
Oh, next year?
Yes.
Oh, well,
Right.
never mind.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling some of these ladies, if you think about divorcing your husband, you got till next October. Just kid. That's what I kept thinking, dude. Dude, that'll be well over a year. I should better
No,
not be drinking by then. No. Yeah, it's next October. So yeah, I ain't really too worried about it.
man,
Yeah,
I pray
it's
we're still on.
29 years. 2026
I was gonna
be
say, like,
30
I was
years.
thinking, like, that math didn't add up for me, but
Yeah, no,
you'll be there.
it's next, but definitely, brother. Yeah, I don't know if I made much sense or just talked in circles or whatever, but
Oh, it was good. Well, you'll
just
get
getting
used to
out
it.
there and
'Cause you
having
got to keep
fun.
sharing your story. So the more you share your story, the more you'll get used to it. Da 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 da. Da. But
Right.
and hey, so I'll be here, man, and look forward to growing a friendship with you.
Sweet.
As a brother, hit me up if you're having some struggles anytime like that, man. And let's definitely stay in touch. Let's do this thing about like possibly like getting together, once a month or every so often. We can just use this and put it out there. So I think we could have some interesting conversations, and who knows, might pop up now and then. We could always invite guests on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we ought to start doing a little live show or a little
We can do it.
broadcast. I can do once a week, man. It don't matter. Ain't no thing to me. I'd like
Okay,
to,
we can.
and it doesn't even have to just do like a fellowship.
Yeah,
Instead of,
just
just
organically. Like I
sitting in the
don't.
garage, yeah, just hang out, talk, do some shit. I think we can get going.
Yeah,
Just whatever it leads to. Just some relationships take a little bit of time for them to want to be open up about anything. So
yeah. I
let's
mean,
get
people might
together.
want to come on or just comment some questions or something like that, and get a conversation going. And I'll share what I think, and you put out there what you feel, and just let people get connected and feel like they're a part of something.
Absolutely, brother.
This is
I
the
think
way my life's going these days. I mean,
right.
there's a bunch of old friends I can't hang out with anymore because they're doing their thing. I pray and wish for them because I know they're good. They're good people, man. Addicts are some of the greatest people. They'll give you the shirt off their
Right.
back, man, but they're
Right.
just stuck. And I'm
It
never gonna.
was, yeah.
I can't ever talk down on nobody. I'm not even
Right.
supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be that dude, out there in the alley or walking around, but it
Hmm.
ain't for me. I can't have it. Life's too good to throw it away like one puff at a time or one
Right.
drink at a time. No more.
Right. Yeah, I get it, brother. I mean, it's it's a blessing. We'll get it figured out though. Like I said, I'm not better than, and I think some people, when you first start, that's how they think is, oh, well, he's sober. Well, he's better off. He's better than me. And that's not the avenue I'm trying to take. Is I'm
No.
trying to make you better
Yeah, I
than
get
you
that.
are. I'm trying to make you a better version of what you are, because you know, like they say, addiction is the one disease that when you get through it, you're better than you were before. You know,
Yep.
you are a better version
Oh,
of
I
you when you get
wholeheartedly
through it.
agree with that. I
Right.
really
So
do.
it is what it is, man. But I appreciate the time, and we'll get through it. And I'll talk to you. You know, just text me. You got my number. We can call or whatever. You know, we'll talk every day. I just think this is probably something just need. I'd like to do more
Yeah,
podcasts or talks or something like that. But
I'm
I'm
available.
probably gonna I'm probably gonna get something to eat, and I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette, and I'm gonna go take a bike out for a little bit. So
Beau,
yeah,
man.
enjoy.
Beau Newton, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and we'll be
Yeah,
catching this as we keep it posted on YouTube and on the GBR page. Appreciate all the support. And Beau, love you, brother. Thanks
love
for
you too,
doing
man.
this.
Thank you, guys. See you, Debbie. You got to pray out or what?
Yeah, I'll pray us out.
There you
Almost
go.
forgot. Lord, forgive me. Hey, Father God, thank you. Thank you for this time with my brother Beau, and we pray both that this testimony, the story, reaches at least one person. Lord, gives them some hope to reach out to Beau or me, or just to be able to connect and get some hope that you know um, life doesn't have to be just a party and with drugs and alcohol. They can turn it around and break through, Lord, and have a midlife revival, for their children, for their grandkids. There's a lot of life left to live, Lord. And I just ask that you let this video and this testimony of my brother Beau reach at least one person, Lord, and it can continue us drawing closer to you and staying sober, staying sane, and just trying to get healthier one day at a time. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen, brother. All right. See you
Beau, thank
guys.
you, brother.
You're welcome, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Later.